A simple ship repair turned deadly. The name under the dust changed everything. That was all it was supposed to be, a simple stop at the old station in the Yulrin expanse to fix a few power conduits, patch a few minor leaks in the hull. Nothing more. Nothing unusual. Her crew moved quietly around the cabin. Engineer Jalen was crouched over a toolbox, his fingers dancing over circuits with practiced ease. Pilot Leora leaned against the wall, sipping a warm cup of coffee, eyes scanning the station's massive structure through the viewport. Navigator Kale tapped at his console, making calculations to ensure docking would be smooth. The station itself looked deserted. Rust had eaten away at the metal in patches, dust covered every surface, and thick clouds of space grime clung to the outer hull. Yet somehow the station seemed intact, almost preserved. "Docking clamps are locked," Kale said, his voice breaking the quiet. "We're good to enter, pressure stable. No signs of life, though." Alara nodded. "Good, keep your eyes open but don't expect anything exciting." Routine repair, routine. She repeated the word in her mind. Routine. Stepping through the airlock, the crew was greeted by a long, narrow corridor. Dust floated lazily in the soft light of flickering panels. The smell was sharp, metallic, and dry, a scent Alara had grown accustomed to during long space missions. She waved her hand in front of her face, brushing away a swirl of dust motes. "This place hasn't seen anyone for decades," Jalen muttered, scanning the walls with his portable sensor. "Most of these systems are ancient. If the conduits haven't shorted yet, they probably won't, but we still need to check everything carefully." Alara's boots echoed across the metal floor as she followed her crew deeper into the station. For a moment, she allowed herself to look around. Strange, she thought. The station was abandoned, yes, but the design was familiar, almost comforting. Straight lines, clear organization, a structure made to serve humans. Whoever built it had planned for long-term use and efficiency. "Look at this," Kale said, pointing at a plaque on the wall, almost completely covered in thick dust. He brushed it with the sleeve of his jacket, revealing a metallic nameplate underneath. Alara stepped closer. The words etched into the metal made her heart skip a beat. "SS Horizon," she froze, her grandfather's ship. Declared missing over 30 years ago during a mission in the same sector. Humanity had assumed it lost forever, swallowed by the endless void. And here it was, right in front of her. "Is that?" she whispered, unable to finish the question. Kale's eyes widened. I think it is. Captain, that's the ship your grandfather commanded, isn't it?" Alara swallowed hard, running her fingers over the nameplate. Dust fell into the grooves, and for a moment she felt a connection across time, a link to a man she had never met but whose stories and courage had shaped her childhood. "Yes," she said finally, her voice steady but full of awe. "It is." Jalen looked uneasy. "Well, this changes things, doesn't it? We came for a simple repair, but it seems we found history instead." Alara nodded. "History and maybe more." The crew moved cautiously down the corridor, entering what appeared to be the control room. Panels lined the walls, some flickering weakly, some darkened by decades of neglect. In the center of the room, a massive console sat like a throne. Dust covered it, but faint lines of recent disturbance suggested someone, or something, had been here not long ago. "That's odd," Jalen muttered, running his gloved hands over the surface. "This dust looks moved, like someone brushed past it recently, but that doesn't make sense. Who could have been here?" Alara frowned. She didn't answer. A strange feeling settled over her, a mixture of wonder and unease. As they examined the console, Alara noticed a small compartment, hidden beneath layers of dust. She knelt and carefully opened it. Inside lay a yellowed, folded note. Her hands trembled slightly as she picked it up. The handwriting was unmistakable, her grandfather's. "To anyone who finds this, beware the silent observer. It watches, it tests. Do not underestimate it. Your mind is your only tool." Alara's eyes widened. She read the words again, Silent observer tests mind as a tool. What did it mean? Kale leaned over her shoulder. Captain, what is it? Alara shook her head, folding the note carefully and tucking it into her jacket. I don't know yet, but we need to be careful. As if on cue, a faint hum rose from the control panels. Lights flickered across the room as though responding to their presence. The hum grew louder, rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat. Did the station just power up? Jalen asked, stepping back. Alara's eyes scanned the room. I don't know, but something is here. Something is aware. The crew exchanged uneasy glances. None of them had expected this. A simple repair job had turned into a puzzle, a mystery connected to a ship long lost. Let's focus, Alara said, her voice steady. We need to inspect the conduits and systems first. We can't let curiosity override safety. Start with the main power line, Jalen. Kale, you and Leora check the docking systems and hull integrity. Minutes passed in tense silence, broken only by the low hum of the station. As Jalen worked, he noticed small anomalies. A tool moved slightly from where he placed it. A screen flickered with static letters that made no sense. Did anyone else see that? He asked, frowning. Kale and Leora shook their heads. Maybe it's just old wiring, Leora suggested, though her voice lacked confidence. Alara, however, was no longer focused on the repair. Her mind raced with questions. Why is my grandfather's ship here? What happened to it? And what is this silent observer? The hum from the panels suddenly shifted, almost like a signal. The letters on the flickering screen rearranged themselves into a single word. Hello, the crew froze. Alara swallowed. It's trying to communicate. The moment hung in the air. A silent, unseen presence that had waited decades, now reaching out to them. Not with weapons, not with threats, but with a challenge. Are we in danger? Kale whispered. Jalen shook his head. I don't think so. Not in the way we usually mean danger. This feels different. Like it wants to see what we can do. Alara nodded slowly. Then we need to be smart, observe first, learn, understand. They spent the next hour examining the station. Every system, every panel, every faint trail of dust became a clue. The station responded subtly to their movements. Lights brightened as they approached a console, faint noises echoed when they solved small technical problems, as if guiding them towards something. Alara couldn't help but feel her grandfather's presence everywhere. His notes, his handwriting, the ship's name, everything pointed to one truth. The man had designed this place to test humanity itself, not with violence or fear, but with puzzles, challenges, and mysteries that required thinking, teamwork, and courage. As the crew finally completed the initial repairs on their ship, the station seemed to hum in satisfaction. A new display flickered on the central console, showing a star map. A hidden route appeared, one that was impossible to detect without the station's guidance. Alara's heart raced. This is more than a repair job. This is a map, something my grandfather wanted us to find. Jalen whistled softly. Talk about turning a simple job into an adventure. But Alara knew it was more than adventure. Somewhere in this station lay secrets of the past and maybe the future, and the silent observer was watching, testing them. As they prepared to leave the station for the night, the crew set up a small camp in the control room. They ate, shared stories, and discussed the mysteries they had uncovered, but sleep did not come easily. The hum of the station, the blinking lights, and the memory of her grandfather's warning lingered in their minds. Alara lay on the metal floor, staring at the ceiling. We are not alone, she thought. Not in the way we imagined, but we are human. And humans, we find a way. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly. Inside, a ship long lost waited silently, its secrets buried under dust, ready to reveal themselves to those who could think, adapt, and understand. And somewhere deep within the station, the silent observer pulsed faintly, acknowledging them, not with words but with the subtle approval of a challenge met, at least in part. The routine repair had become anything but routine. And Alara Quinn, along with her crew, was only beginning to uncover the mysteries that lay beneath the dust. The hum of the station was constant now, a soft pulse that seemed to mirror the crew's own heartbeat. Elara Quinn stood in the control room, staring at the star map that had appeared on the central console. The route her grandfather had hidden shimmered faintly, almost alive, as though it were guiding them somewhere important. "This is incredible," Leora whispered, her voice barely audible. She leaned closer to the screen. "This map, it's not just showing stars. Look at these markings, paths through the expanse we've never seen." Kale tapped his fingers on the edge of the console. "Some of these coordinates are impossible. They're too precise for any human navigation system. Only someone with advanced knowledge could have plotted them." Alara's eyes were fixed on the screen. "Someone like my grandfather. He was brilliant, always thinking 10 steps ahead." "But why leave this here? And what is the silent observer he mentioned in the note?" Jalen, who had been inspecting the station's systems, straightened. "Captain, you need to see this." He pointed to a panel that flickered with intermittent light. "These systems, they're responding to us. It's like the station is alive." Alara frowned. "Alive? You mean sentient?" Jalen shrugged. "Not exactly, but it reacts to what we do. Every time we solve a minor problem or move a piece of equipment, the lights change. Even the airflow adjusts as if it's aware of us." Alara took a deep breath. "This is exactly what my grandfather warned about." She reached for her jacket pocket, fingers brushing the note she had found. "Silent observer, tests, mind as a tool." The crew continued their inspection, moving through corridors that seemed ordinary at first but gradually revealed hidden surprises. A door that should have been sealed opened when they approached, showing a small chamber filled with tools and data logs. A panel displayed a holographic interface, flickering as though testing their ability to interpret it. "Look at this," Kale said, pointing at the hologram. "It's a puzzle. Symbols, numbers, maybe some kind of code. The station wants us to solve it." Alara knelt beside him. "It's not threatening us, but it's challenging us. My grandfather designed this place as a test. Everything we do, the station observes." Hours passed, each moment a mix of wonder and tension. The crew moved with care, solving small puzzles that activated sections of the station. A conveyor system hummed to life, delivering tools exactly when they were needed. Doors opened to reveal hidden compartments, some containing personal effects from the SS Horizon, others filled with old logs that described the ship's last mission. Alara's fingers trembled as she read one of the logs. The SS Horizon had been testing a navigation system capable of predicting cosmic anomalies before they occurred. Her grandfather's final entry was a message for whoever might find the ship. "If you are reading this, you are capable of more than you know. Use your mind, trust your instincts, and work together. The station is not your enemy, it is your guide." The crew exchanged glances. None of them had expected this. A routine repair had turned into a treasure hunt, a test of intellect and teamwork across time. Yet the station's presence was never entirely comforting. Small anomalies kept happening. Tools moved slightly, a screen flashed an unreadable message, and the lights pulsed in ways that suggested awareness. Each event reminded them that they were being watched, tested, and measured. Alara's mind raced. "We have to stay sharp. Every action, every decision matters. This station is not dangerous in a physical sense, but if we make a mistake, it could trap us here." Jalen frowned. "Trap us? How?" Alara gestured to the star map. "The station controls more than the doors and lights. It can override our ship systems if we're careless. That's the silent observer's test. We're being evaluated on problem-solving, teamwork, and judgment." The crew nodded, understanding the gravity of their task. What had started as a simple repair had become a mission to prove their ingenuity. As they worked, the station presented increasingly complex challenges. A system of levers and conduits required them to reroute power in a specific sequence. But every time they made a mistake, the lights dimmed, and a gentle vibration pulsed through the floor, an unmistakable signal that they were off track. "This is like a game," Kale said, his eyes lighting up with excitement. "But the stakes are higher than anything we've faced." Alara smiled faintly. "Exactly, and we need to play it smart. Trust your instincts. Think like my grandfather would have thought. Observe patterns, adapt, and stay calm." Hours turned into a full cycle of the station's day-night rhythm. The crew worked tirelessly, solving puzzles that revealed more about the SS Horizon and the purpose of the station. They discovered data logs describing the ship's crew, experiments, and voyages. Some logs contained warnings about cosmic anomalies, while others held philosophical musings from her grandfather about humanity's potential. One discovery stunned them all: a chamber containing a holographic projection of the SS Horizon's last journey. The crew watched as the ship navigated through a dangerous nebula, dodging gravitational distortions and cosmic storms with precise maneuvers. Every move was calculated, every decision deliberate. "This is incredible," Leora said, her voice filled with awe. "The ship, the crew, they faced impossible odds and yet they succeeded, and now we get to learn from them." Alara's eyes were fixed on the projection. "Yes. And that is why the station exists, to teach us, to guide us, to test us, not with violence but with challenges that require thought, cooperation, and courage." As the crew delved deeper, the station began to respond in more subtle ways. Holographic panels displayed fragments of star charts that aligned with their own mission. Systems adjusted automatically to assist their progress. Even the air seemed fresher, the lights warmer, as if the station approved of their efforts. Yet the silent observer remained a mystery. They felt its presence but never saw it. The station was testing them in ways they could not fully comprehend. Every solved puzzle led to another, more complex than the last. Then a sudden alarm sounded, not a warning of danger, but a signal that the next challenge had begun. The main control console lit up with a complex interface, showing a three-dimensional map of an uncharted sector of space. Kale studied it closely. This is a navigation challenge. It's showing paths through the expanse that don't match any star charts. We're supposed to figure out the safest route." Alara nodded. "We can do this, together. Remember what my grandfather wrote. Use your mind, trust your instincts, and work together." The crew set to work, analyzing the data, testing different paths, and calculating variables. Time seemed to stretch as they focused entirely on the task. The station watched, its systems flickering and pulsing with their every move. After several tense hours, they found a solution: a path through the sector that avoided anomalies, gravitational distortions, and cosmic storms. The station responded with a soft chime, lights brightening across the room in approval. Ilara allowed herself a small smile. "We did it. We passed the test for now." But the silent observer had one more subtle challenge. A message appeared on the console, not in words but in patterns of light and sound. It was a riddle, a final puzzle for the day. The past guides the future. The path is revealed to those who see both. The crew pondered the message. What did it mean? How did the past guide the future? They could feel the weight of the challenge, knowing that each answer would bring them closer to understanding the station's true purpose, and perhaps the full story of the SS Horizon. Alara took a deep breath. "It's about legacy. My grandfather left this for us, not to trap us but to teach us. The past, his decisions, his courage, guides our actions now. We have to see the patterns he left behind and use them to move forward." Leora nodded. "So every puzzle, every challenge, it's a lesson. And we're learning." Jalen glanced around the room. "And the station, it's not alive in the normal sense, but it's observing, adapting, testing us, making sure we can think, solve problems, and work together." Kale smiled. "It's a test of humanity itself. Not strength or weapons, but intelligence, teamwork, and courage." HFY, right? Alara laughed softly. "Exactly. Humanity can solve problems no machine can because we can think creatively, empathize, and adapt. That is what my grandfather wanted to show, what he believed in. The crew spent the rest of their cycle reviewing the logs, studying the star maps, and preparing for the next set of challenges. They were tired but invigorated, their minds buzzing with possibilities. Before resting, Alara stood by the central console, gazing at the star map. She felt a deep connection to her grandfather, to the SS Horizon, and to the silent observer who had been watching them all day. "We are not just repairing a ship," she said softly. "We are continuing a legacy, and every challenge we face makes us stronger, smarter, better." Outside the station, stars glimmered like scattered diamonds. Inside, the crew of Alara Quinn's ship had begun a journey far more important than simple repairs, a journey to understand humanity's potential, guided by the lessons of the past and the quiet approval of a silent observer. And as they rested for the night, the station pulsed gently around them, as if acknowledging their efforts and preparing the next challenge. The adventure was far from over. The mysteries of the SS Horizon, the silent observer, and the hidden routes through the Yulrin expanse awaited. And Alara Quinn, her crew, and humanity itself were ready to rise to the challenge. The station was quiet, yet its silence pulsed with purpose. After a full cycle of testing and subtle challenges, Alara Quinn and her crew now understood the truth. The SS Horizon and this station were not just remnants of the past. They were lessons, a legacy designed by her grandfather to challenge, to teach, and to inspire. Alara stood at the central console, staring at the final riddle the station had presented the night before. The past guides the future. The path is revealed to those who see both. Her fingers hovered over the console, tracing faint lines of light that formed the hidden map. She felt the weight of generations, the knowledge and hope her grandfather had placed in their hands. She could feel the silent observer's presence in the hum of the station, a test that demanded more than technical skill. It demanded intuition, courage, and trust in each other. "We've made it this far," she said, turning to her crew. "But this last challenge, it's about understanding the bigger picture. Not just our skills, but our ability to learn, to connect, and to see patterns that aren't obvious." Kale leaned over her shoulder, his eyes scanning the holographic display. "It's like a web of choices and consequences. Each decision we make changes the path. One wrong move and we might have to start over." Leora smiled faintly. "Or maybe it's testing patience, observation, and creativity. We don't have to force it, we just need to think differently." Alara nodded. "Exactly. Let's review everything. Every clue, every log, every route on the map. We solve this together." The final puzzle. The crew gathered in the control room, spreading out holographic star charts and data logs. Jalen traced the paths of the SS Horizon's last mission, noting the precise timing and maneuvers. Leora cross-referenced them with the anomalies recorded in the station's systems. Kale simulated multiple routes, eliminating paths that could lead to dead ends. Alara studied her grandfather's note again. "Use your mind, trust your instincts, and work together." This isn't just navigation, she realized aloud. It's coordination, teamwork, and observation. Every choice matters. The station reacts to us. We need to anticipate its patterns and work with it, not against it. The station responded immediately, lights pulsing as if acknowledging her insight. Panels flickered to display subtle hints, symbols, sequences, and color-coded markers that were invisible before. "It's giving us guidance," Kale said, awe in his voice. "It's like it knows we're ready," Alara smiled. "Then let's prove we are." A test of teamwork. The crew divided tasks efficiently. Jalen monitored power conduits, ensuring the station's systems remained stable as they manipulated the holographic interface. Leora interpreted cryptic sequences, matching them to known star patterns and anomaly readings. Kale ran simulations, predicting how each movement would affect the network of pathways through the uncharted sector. Ilara coordinated the effort, her mind racing through possibilities while staying aware of the subtle changes in the station's systems. The silent observer tested them in unexpected ways. Small lights blinked in rapid sequences, requiring instant pattern recognition. Hidden doors opened or closed based on the crew's collective decisions. Hours passed, the station alive with quiet energy. Every solution led to a new puzzle, each more complex than the last, but the crew's synergy grew stronger. Mistakes were corrected quickly. Observations were shared immediately. Insight followed intuition. At one point, a panel displayed a holographic representation of the SS Horizon itself, showing its crew performing coordinated maneuvers decades ago. The station seemed to be reminding them, human ingenuity succeeds through cooperation. Ilara felt a surge of pride, not for herself but for the crew. We're not just repairing our ship, we're proving that humans can solve challenges no machine alone could manage. The map comes alive. Finally, the last puzzle emerged, a network of interstellar paths that seemed impossible to navigate. The crew studied it carefully. Every choice was intertwined. Every action created feedback loops that the station observed and responded to. Ilara looked at the map, a thought striking her. The past guides the future. The SS Horizon's journey isn't just history, it's a blueprint. We need to follow it, understand the logic behind it, and adapt it for ourselves. They retraced her grandfather's path, observing the choices he had made, the risks he had calculated, the creative solutions he had devised. Slowly, carefully, they mirrored the logic, adding their own insight where it was missing. The station responded. Lights shimmered brighter. Holographic panels rearranged themselves. Hidden doors slid open, revealing a small chamber at the station's core. Inside lay the ultimate log of the SS Horizon, a personal message from her grandfather, preserved in holographic form. To those who come after me. You think creatively, adapt to unexpected situations, and work together. That is our strength. Use this knowledge wisely. Explore, learn, and leave a legacy for those who follow. Captain Idris Quinn, SS Horizon. Ilara felt tears prick her eyes. She turned to her crew, who were silent, equally moved. He believed in us, she whispered. He believed in humanity. Jalen broke the silence. And he was right. This station, it's incredible. Not just a test, but a reminder of what humans can do when we use our minds, trust each other, and stay determined. Leora smiled. HFY indeed, Kale nodded. We didn't just solve the station's puzzles, we honored his legacy. The legacy continues. With the final log reviewed, the station seemed to quiet down, its systems stabilizing. The subtle hum that had filled the corridors now felt like a satisfied sigh, a recognition that the test had been passed. Ilara and her crew returned to their ship, carrying knowledge, logs, and the lessons of the SS Horizon. Every panel they repaired, every calculation they had performed, and every challenge they had solved had strengthened not just their skills, but their understanding of human potential. As they prepared to leave the station, Ilara paused one last time, touching the nameplate of the SS Horizon. "We'll make you proud," she said softly, "and we'll make sure your lessons live on." The ship's engines roared to life. Docking clamps released. The station's lights dimmed as if waving goodbye. Outside, the stars stretched endlessly, a reminder of all the places humans could explore and all the mysteries they could solve. The journey home was calm but filled with purpose. The crew shared their thoughts, plans, and dreams. Every member of the team felt the weight of the legacy they carried, the reminder that humanity's greatest strength lay not in weapons or power, but in curiosity, intelligence, and teamwork. Ilara gazed out the viewport, thinking of the silent observer, her grandfather, and the SS Horizon. "We've been tested," she said quietly, "and we've proven ourselves. But this is only the beginning. There's so much more to discover." The stars gleamed like tiny beacons of hope. And somewhere among them, Other challenges, puzzles, and discoveries awaited. But Alara Quinn and her crew knew this. Humans could face anything, solve anything, and adapt to any challenge the universe might throw at them. And so they sailed onward, leaving the abandoned station behind, carrying not just the logs and maps, but a renewed belief in themselves and in humanity. Because in the vast, infinite reaches of space, humans were not ordinary. They were clever, adaptable, and full of courage. And that was something no machine, no anomaly, no silent observer could ever test or ever surpass. The legacy of the SS Horizon would live on, not as a ghost of the past, but as a testament to human ingenuity, determination, and heart. Alara smiled as the ship glided smoothly through the expanse. They had faced the station, the puzzles, and the silent observer, and they had triumphed. Humanity had won, not with strength, not with violence, but with thought, teamwork, and perseverance. And in the endless dark of space, that light shone brighter than any star.